If World War III started tonight, where would you go? In a global conflict, geography could play a major role in determining safety. Some places on Earth would likely become immediate targets, while others might experience the effects of war much later. But the locations many people assume would be the safest may actually be among the most dangerous, because modern warfare would move faster than any war in human history. Within minutes of a major conflict beginning, long-range missiles could travel across continents. Satellites that control communication and navigation systems could be targeted, and cyber attacks could disrupt power grids, transportation systems, and financial networks. Military analysts often believe that the first phase of a large-scale conflict would focus on disabling an opponent's ability to coordinate and respond. That means targeting command centers, communication hubs, and military infrastructure. For this reason, some of the most powerful cities in the world could also become the most vulnerable. Capitals like Washington, D.C., Moscow, Beijing, and London hold enormous strategic importance. These cities contain government leadership, intelligence agencies, and military command systems that coordinate national defense. Disrupting these centers could slow a country's ability to respond during the early stages of conflict. Because of this, major political capitals are often considered potential early targets in military planning scenarios. But capitals are not the only locations that could face danger. Large military bases around the world could also become high-risk areas. Air Force bases, naval ports, and missile installations are designed to project military power. Disabling them quickly could weaken a nation's ability to launch aircraft, deploy ships, or defend its territory. Regions like Okinawa in Japan, Guam in the Pacific Ocean, and various NATO installations across Europe are considered strategically important military locations. Aircraft carriers stationed at sea would also become extremely valuable targets. These massive ships function as mobile air bases, capable of launching aircraft far from land. Neutralizing them early could shift the balance of power in naval warfare. Another category of high-risk locations would be geopolitical flashpoints. These are regions where tensions between major powers already exist. Many experts believe that if a global conflict were to escalate, it would likely begin in areas where rival powers already compete for influence. Taiwan is often mentioned as one of the most sensitive geopolitical regions today. The island sits at the center of growing tensions between China and the United States. A conflict in the Taiwan Strait could potentially involve multiple regional and global powers. Another area of concern is the South China Sea. This region contains important international shipping routes and disputed territories claimed by several countries. Control of these waters carries both economic and strategic importance. Eastern Europe has also become an area of intense geopolitical focus in recent years. The war in Ukraine has already demonstrated how quickly regional conflicts can reshape global alliances and security strategies. Meanwhile, the Middle East has long been a region where international interests intersect. Energy resources, trade routes, and political rivalries make the region strategically significant during times of global tension. All of these areas share one common characteristic. They are strategically important, and in military strategy, places that hold strategic importance often carry greater risk during conflict. But while some locations could face immediate danger, others might experience the effects of war much more slowly. Some analysts suggest that the safest locations during a large global conflict would share several characteristics. They would likely be geographically remote, have limited military infrastructure, and hold relatively low strategic value. One country often mentioned in discussions about remote safety is New Zealand. Located deep in the South Pacific Ocean, New Zealand is far from many major geopolitical flashpoints. It has a relatively small population and limited strategic military targets compared with larger global powers. Its geographic isolation could potentially provide a degree of separation from the early stages of conflict. Another location sometimes discussed is Iceland. This island nation sits in the North Atlantic between North America and Europe. Iceland does not maintain its own standing military, although it is a member of NATO and hosts some strategic facilities. Its small population and remote location could reduce the likelihood of it becoming a primary target. Switzerland has also historically focused on civil defense preparedness. The country has maintained a long tradition of political neutrality. During the Cold War, Switzerland built an extensive network of underground shelters designed to protect civilians during emergencies. Today, the country still maintains one of the highest levels of shelter capacity in the world. Remote regions of South America may also have lower strategic importance. Areas like Patagonia in southern Argentina and Chile are sparsely populated and far from most global military infrastructure. These landscapes contain vast mountains, glaciers, and remote valleys with relatively low population density. While life in these areas can be challenging, they are unlikely to hold major strategic value during a global conflict. Some analysts also mention Mongolia as a geographically isolated region. With a small population and large open landscapes, Mongolia has limited military infrastructure compared to many other countries. However, its location between Russia and China means that regional dynamics could still influence its security. Even so, no location on Earth would be completely immune to the effects of a global war. Modern conflicts are no longer confined only to battlefields. Cyber attacks could affect financial systems across continents. Satellite disruptions could impact communication and navigation worldwide. And global trade networks could be severely disrupted. Food supply chains, energy markets, and international transportation could all feel the consequences of a large conflict. This means that even countries far from military targets could still experience economic and technological disruptions. In a truly global war, the effects would reach nearly every corner of the planet, but geography would still influence where the greatest risks appear first. Strategic cities, military installations, and geopolitical flashpoints would likely experience the earliest stages of conflict. Meanwhile, remote areas with little strategic importance could remain quieter for longer periods of time. In the end, the safest place during a global conflict may not be the most powerful country or the most advanced city. It may simply be the place that no one has a reason to fight over. Because throughout history, the most dangerous places during war have often been the ones that matter the most strategically, and sometimes the safest places are the ones that the world rarely thinks about. So if World War III began tomorrow, where would you go? And more importantly, would anywhere truly be safe?